Hi, welcome to, it looks a little blurry. Welcome to this Reiki session. Just wait a sec. Okay. Welcome to this Reiki session. This is just going to be a quick little bedtime session to remove any blocks to receiving. So I'm just figuring out a filter. It's kind of nice. Okay. All right. Welcome. I don't really know how to use YouTube Live. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me all right. This is just going to be a session to clear any blocks to receiving. We could use some nice, soft, sweet energy to infuse our manifestations with positive intentions. Clear any blocks we have to receiving, any old stories we have about deserving to get what we want. Any old stories about want, any old stories about what we're worthy of. And this is a prayer candle that my best friend gave me. For the throat chakra, and also for positive energy. So, I thought I would use matches, even though I'm not very good at lighting matches. I just love the way they sound, so let's go for it. Not bad. So I'm going to be lighting this candle with the intention of clearing any blocks standing in the way of you getting what you want. So I invite you to gaze at the flame just for a moment. And if you'd like to add any of your own intentions to the flame, you can do so. I'll be setting this intention with good to all and harm to none. Good vibes only. And consent is always a part of the process in Reiki. You would never receive any energy healing if you didn't consent to it. So, set this here. Oh, and also, this is a jade candle holder. So bringing in abundance, bringing in prosperity, in this energy of receiving. All right. I'm just going to be starting with a selenite cleanse. It's a little selenite piece. Just going to be combing through your aura. Just bathing your aura in soothing white light to start out. I'm going to be going in, starting to pluck any just energy that doesn't align with the vibration of receiving and getting everything we want. And feeling some old stuck residue near your solar plexus chakra. So just continue to breathe here as I go in, kind of loosen up. Then remove anything that doesn't match the vibration of receiving what we know we deserve. Just continue to breathe and soothing those areas where we're plucking from. Just removing anything that doesn't want to be there anymore. Just to create some space, always with kindness, with pure intentions, never any intention of changing anything about you, getting rid of any part of you. These are just old stories that aren't yours. They don't belong to you. Maybe they once did, but chances are they just belong to other people. Chances are they were never yours, these feelings. We're going to replace all of these old stories, all of this stuck energy in just a moment, but for now, just breathe. And part with these morsels of old energy with love and peace and gratitude. As uncomfy as these old stories that can continue to pop up, especially when you're close to getting what you want, especially when you're on a high. As uncomfortable as it is when they pop up, at these opportune times, we can be grateful to them. Not only for flags of reminding us what we've outgrown and reminding us what we do want, but also for keeping us safe. Sometimes fear isn't a bad thing. And it's just listening to when fear is helping, and when you could say, oh, thank you so much for keeping me safe. But I got this. And I actually don't need you anymore. I used to be terrified of singing in front of people, even my family. Like, terrified. Like, I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Hold for plane. I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in a backyard theater camp. And it was a one-day only matinee performance. And I was so afraid of singing in front of the 50 parents in the backyard during the middle of the day that I pretended to forget the words to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because for some reason that was less embarrassing. Having the director come up and sing the song was less embarrassing than actually being heard. And I was so terrified of singing in front of people, but I had this dream of being a singer and being heard. But I didn't let anyone, and my fear always won. I was on FaceTime with Scooter Braun, who was Justin Bieber's manager, and Justin Bieber was in the other room, and he was like, sing for me, and I'll have Justin Bieber say hi. I was like, no, and he was like, sing for me, and I'll have him make you a voicemail for all your friends, which this was in middle school. I would have been the coolest kid in school. I was like, no, and he was like, come on, I'm looking for someone around his age. Like, please just sing for me. And I didn't, because fear was driving the driver's seat. But I don't regret it, because fear was protecting me for a long time. I wasn't ready. And I don't regret any of those times that fear has stopped me in the past. But now I can acknowledge, okay, fear has served its purpose. It's tried to keep me safe. But at this point, it's really not needed anymore. At this point, it's just self-sabotage. So, which maybe some would say that it was back then, but I truly don't see it that way, because I was not a person yet. I didn't know who I was. So no matter what would have happened then, I'm just grateful it didn't happen when I wasn't a full person yet, when I hadn't established a foundation of who I am and who I want to be. So that just kind of goes in line with the like everything happens for a reason type thing. Although everything happens for a reason isn't my favorite saying. A saying I love is, it's a similar feeling, a similar message, but it's everything makes sense in reverse. I love that because it's not saying that, we have predetermined fate, or that we have to be happy or in a mode of trust when we're not in a space to be in a mode of trust. But it's saying that we'll be able to trust. We can trust in the long run, because one day we'll look back and it'll all check out. It'll be like, oh my God, that happened, and then I met this person, then I did this, and if I hadn't done that, and yeah, it's just a beautiful little window into the butterfly effect and to faith and trust in a way that feels kosher for me. So now that we've kind of gone through and gotten rid of this fear and said, thank you for protecting us. Thank you for being there for us. We don't need you. We'll know when we need you. When there's actual cause for, if like our hand is inching near the burner that's on, that's when you're useful. And you're like, oh, cool. Thank you for protecting me. But in terms of our dreams, we're ready. Now, I'm going to be using this honey calcite, which is one of my favorite crystals and one of my first crystals I ever got. And I love fake food. It's my favorite. Like at, where do they have it? Cheesecake Factory type restaurants often have fake food on the stand, or like Aki. They have those in the Bay Area. Anyway, I love fake food. And this honey calcite looks like a slab of honeycomb. I'm obsessed with it. And it feels so sweet too. So I'm going to be using this honey calcite to fill up any of the cracks, fill up any of those holes that we just made, like spackle, except a golden, sparkly, warm, sweet, soothing, antibacterial energy with so many soothing and sweet properties. Just filling up all of these cracks with honey and positivity and hope. I was just reading a book about how important hope is, and how hope is the remedy to a lot of things. I won't mention those things because it's a little philosophical and heady in a way that's like not super high vibe. But hope's dope. So let's fill you on up with positive energy and hope. Ooh, I feel it. Do you feel it? Okay. Now, I don't even know what to use first. I have so many goodies. Okay. Yeah, I picked this up first. I'm going to use it first. This is Adventurine. This will just help you magnify your manifestations. I'm also going to use this feather. In conjunction with this Adventurine, to just encourage your manifestations to take flight. Infusing motivation and momentum and excitement and determination into the fire behind your goals, into the fuel behind your manifestations. We're focusing on receiving, and we're focusing on this energy of inspiration, of flow, of taking divinely guided action. So just getting a little bit of this action of taking flight out of the way. Feel like a lot of creative energy, and creative in a sense of any of your manifestations, whether they're career-oriented, art, hobby-oriented, relationship-oriented, financial-oriented. There's creative energy behind it because you're the creator, you're calling it in. You're creating your manifestations. And when it comes to creative energy, I feel like inertia comes into play a lot, at least from my perspective of an object in motion will stay in motion. And getting that initial flap of a wing, that initial launch can be so rejuvenating and inspiring. And once that launch happens, then you're coasting. You're just continuing to receive and continuing to enjoy and continuing to just be on this high-flying disc of receiving, of leveling up. I actually have a song called Level Up coming out Friday in a couple days. So I'll be posting it on here. But check it out, Jordana Lily on Spotify and all those channels. It's a very high vibe song about leveling up and being ready. Actually, maybe I'll play it at the end of this. Okay. So, now that we've planted, actually, let's seal it in planting these seeds. There's a very seed-like energy in this flower agate. Agate? I don't know. There's so much nurturing feminine energy in this crystal. So I'd like to use this to plant these seeds of inspiration, of this energy, this momentum, this launch. And then, now that we've taken flight, allowing yourself to receive, allowing these seeds to grow, nurturing these seeds by nurturing ourselves, nurturing these seeds by believing in yourself. Nurturing these seeds by trusting and having faith and continuing I'm going to be using this rose water to extra douse in this feminine energy of receiving. And also roses, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I did buy Bulgarian rose extract because it said that roses have the highest vibration of any thing, I think. I don't know, don't quote me on that, or look it up and then quote me correctly, or, incorrectly. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm saying is do the research for me. Anyway, roses are super high vibe and smell super good and kind of represent this energy of receiving and being in very high vibe, high energy sweetness and just enjoying the process. The more you're enjoying and the more grateful you are, the more blessings are flooding your way and the faster these seedlings grow. So breathe in. Breathe out. Oh man, that smells good. Okay. Last little tidbit. I'm just gonna protect you. This is a tiny little essential oil. It looks like it's backwards, but it's just backwards for you. Tiny little essential oil, listen to that. Like that? A tiny little essential oil for protection. I'm just gonna use this. It's got a lot of woodsy tones, clove, to protect you and preserve and help you to maintain this high vibe state of being in the vortex, if you enjoy Abraham Hicks. Protecting your energy from anyone else's energy, especially if you're an empath. Allowing you to be there for others without sacrificing the trust and the just good energy you have behind your manifestations, and protecting you against any of these triggers and any of these old stories that turned into these blocks that we've removed, and trusting that if any of these triggers, any of these stories come up for you, doesn't mean they're a part of you, doesn't mean they're even in there. They could just be shadows, glimpses, mirages. Reminders of what you've let go of. And all you have to do is acknowledge it. Oh, hello, fear. Hello, old friend. Thank you so much. I'm actually gonna keep going this way though, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna. So, I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna play my song now. It's kind of high energy, high vibe, so yeah, I actually don't know if I'm going to right now. Because I just don't. If you're heading off to sleep right now, which I feel like this is a good video for sleep, I didn't know what it would end up being, you know. And I don't want it to wake you up. I'll make another video, Reiki for leveling up. And keep your eyes peeled for my music release on Friday. And I have a whole album coming out July 7th. Gotta finish this week. But it's a whole album of manifestation bops and meditations, and there's voice memos I found from 5 years ago about my relationship to getting what I want. And this album is called I Get What I Want, and it's basically a 5-year journey that I've mapped out through song and through some spoken word and some activations, affirmations, and meditations. And I can't wait to share it, so I'll continue to let you know about that. But for now, if you've drifted off to sleep,